Hey, Deadpool Negative again, here back with another comic book review, this time of Marvel 1776. So here we have a kind of a weird project that kind of just dropped in our laps. Um, Announced with solicitations, like not a lot of hype. Since next year is the 250th anniversary of America. Yeah, that's right. Um, Marvel has decided to do a five-issue miniseries written by J. Michael Straczynski that concerns Morgan LeFay trying to manipulate historical events to make sure the United States is never formed. And of course, the only people that can stop him are not the characters on this cover. This is a Steve Rude drawing from 1997 that they repurposed. And while the Hulk and Captain America and Iron Man are in the comic, Thor, the Thing, and the Silver Surfer are nowhere to be found. The primary reason I bought this was like this is the first time in years after having him do all these covers, Marvel actually threw Ron Lim some interior artwork. Now he doesn't draw the whole thing. Damien Hill, who's a fairly new artist, I believe, draws some of the rest. So basically, Morgan Le Fay comes up with a plan to prevent the United States from forming by interfering, by not just by helping the British win the war, but by she says by by controlling the narrative after the war is over. That the basically she says if we neutralize the way you neutralize the threat from the Americans, ensure there is no America. Instead of states that are part of the nation, divide the continent into 12 separate countries. And like Europe, these countries will be constantly competing. And that's at least an interesting idea. And she picks a British politician and soldier to be the architect of this grand plan. And it's funny, the ghost of. So the way the timeline seems to be working is Morgan Le Fay's plans are already in place, and history is already changing. And the ghost of Benjamin Franklin is sent forward in the future to warn Doctor Strange all about this before things change. And Doctor Strange gathers Spider-Man, Captain America, the Hulk, and Iron Man to help fix it. And he also gets Clea. He can't go back in time himself. There's a lot of oh boy, there's a lot of discussion about time travel usage in this, and of course, being this is the modern day Marvel, whatever the rules of time travel are, it's whatever the writer feels like it. Ever since Age of Ultron, which by the way was awful, it's what, and here it's like not branching timelines, but things have been changed, and you can't really alter things. You can only make minor changes, but since Morgan is immortal, therefore she was part of that time, coming to each moment when it was still malleable, when the tides of time have not yet settled. I'm not sure that logic entirely works, but I'll go with it. There's a line that got a lot of flack from some people where it doesn't really, I mean, it's not really as inflammatory as you'd think, but the the Bruce Banner says, would British running things be really bad? And it's interesting as a thought experiment. The British Empire did a lot of the awful things that did the States during the push west. The Brits winning the revolution might be more of a lateral move than an up or down situation. This doesn't quite work, and this feels like more of a guy who's been reading too many Warren Ellis or Garth Ennis comics, which, knowing. And Straczynski just moved to London, so he's probably got British on them. I'm mostly Irish, so I don't give a rat's ass about the mobility of the British. So I just care about the TV and movies they make. I don't think much of them besides out of that. That's just my prejudice, but it is interesting as a thought experiment. It just feels like it stands out in an odd way. So basically that's the deal, and they go back in time, and one of the goofiest things, I can't stand this when characters do this, like, they go back in time, they're given a day and date, and they all of a sudden they bark out a history lesson. Like, they go to Saratoga, New York, September 16th, 1777, and while, yes, he's Captain America, he would be knowledgeable about American history, but he wouldn't be a Wikipedia page. You know, historians call it the meat grinder. Almost 2,000 killed on both sides. Hundreds wounded. Nearly 7,000 missing in action, platoon dead or captured. You know, it's... And Clea, who is not even of Earth, knows this information as well. It's kind of a frustrating comic because I'm not sure this needs to be 5 issues. I mean, this always goes to my Mantlo annual rule. Could this have been wrapped up in a 48-page Bill Mantlo written annual 40 years ago? And I think a lot of comics, long-term comic storylines can, which says a lot about how writing for the trade has melted everyone's brain. You know, I blame for that. It's frustrating because there's a lot I like on a surface level, but first of all, the biggest problem is Sean Damien Hill. He's inked by two talented inkers, Jay Leisten and Roberto Poggi, and he's good on expressions. You know, this is Benjamin Franklin going back in time. He did, like, Lim does the modern day, Hill does the 1770s, and this is actually a really well drawn scene of, you know, Franklin dying in Morgan Le Fay's new timeline. But oh, and here's another great Ron Lim look at the Sorcerer Supreme, doing the old Kurt Ditko world. But, like, there's a lot of, like, strange, like, the scenes, like, he's great at facial expressions, but, like, the scene, this scene doesn't quite work. And all of a sudden, like, on the last page, it's like, can anyone tell me what... Okay, you hear a voice off, like, obviously, like, but why is Spider-Man crouching? Why is it... I think Hill's been only operating for about 2 or 3 years, and this is novice work. Like, why does Bruce Banner of the 1770 look like Luke Arnold, for one thing? Because Tony and Peter look the same. I shouldn't have called them by their first names. I'm sorry. I mean, this is kind of neat, but what the hell is this Hulk picture here? It doesn't look right, you know? It's frustrating because I think Hill has talent. I think the scenes with Morgan Le Fay are really good, but I'm just not that excited about this. The best part is this scene where Spider-Man's chasing a guy and Doctor Strange's portal interrupts the chase. I don't know if I'm going to read the next issue. I'm just glad somebody did the smart thing and put Ron Lim on interiors again. That's the best reason to buy this comic. You know, it's going to run 5 issues. We'll see how I feel about buying the second issue. Right now, I can't really recommend it. Anyway, I'm Deadpool Negative, and I will see you next time.